G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a shoulder-mounted machine gun as part of the Rat Runner's arsenal. So originally this weapon was from the Fallout New Vegas DLC called Lonesome Road, and it was a interesting addition to that DLC. I never really rated the shoulder-mounted machine gun in Fallout New Vegas, mostly because it is chambering these 10mm rounds, which is odd for a machine gun to be firing pistol cartridges, but don't worry about it. The 10mm ammos are cheap, so we need something to fire them rapidly. But back in Fallout New Vegas, the 10mm rounds were never really that versatile. Yeah, that's right. There was only the hollow points and I believe the hand-load cartridge for the 10mm rounds, which means when you are firing this at your divide dudes, those red ghoul guys, what are they called? Marked men. It just gets soaked up by their armor, which wasn't nothing, so I found this thing to be a pretty ineffective weapon. I don't think I rated it even when I used it against all those Deathclaws in Fallout New Vegas, so we're looking for a little bit of a lift here. We don't have to worry about all of that pesky armor mechanics, such as they are in New Vegas in this game, so I think that's already giving us a little bit of a leg up here. But anyways, we'll get over to the customization because it's a little bit better than the 3 mods you can stick on it in Fallout New Vegas. So obviously you've got the receivers up first. The advanced receiver giving you a much respectable 81 damage for a start. Not too bad. That will increase the weight of this. If you don't have any of these gun nut perks, the strongest you can get is the hardened receiver, which is okay, I guess, but obviously we're going for the strongest we can do with this. We've got standard barrels on right now, and it gets a little bit more interesting because you can put on some light barrels, which look really cool. That'll increase the fire rate and also the damage per bullet. Slightly better for DPS, probably a lot better for DPS. The compact barrels will cost you a lot of range, of course, but will increase your rate of fire by a huge amount. And then you've got the sort of the tri-barrel equivalent of your miniguns in the vanilla game. So more damage, less rate of fire, but the range is a lot higher, allowing you to reach out and hit targets more effectively at range and do more damage from range, which is pretty nice. You've also got the heavy barrels, which appear to be just an improved version, sort of all round. It'll increase or decrease our rate of fire slightly, but the range and accuracy bonuses here, as well as the damage, I think you can't really pass up. But worth mentioning, if you want some sort of precision type weapon with this thing, with like a scope or something, which we'll get to in a second, then a long barrel is a very strong choice for that. We've got a standard grip right now. You can have a compact grip, which will decrease the weight slightly and make it less accurate because presumably you're taking out a lot of the comfort, possibly the recoil compensation system of the weapon to do that. But if you're low on carry weight, then why not? This marksman grip allows you to have less scope sway when you aim down the scopes. Just marksman stock, that's pretty stock standard. And of course, you've got a recoil compensating grips for controlling a lot of recoil. That's getting the weapon over to 30 pounds at this stage, and just looking slightly, just if you squint your eyes, you can almost see like a rotary barrel Spartan laser setup going on here, which is pretty nice. Next, we've got the optics. We've got no scope on right now, but you can have a reflex sight, which is mounted on the side that you can see right there, just above the grippy thing for the magazine. You'd think that'd almost get in the way. We've also got options for scopes, which are mounted along the top, but it's like a periscope system where you can look down there and your vision will be transferred over up there somehow. I don't know all the science. This is just my job 5 days a week. There's a Elton John reference. Next, we've got a night vision scope and a recon scope. Pretty self-explanatory there. And an improved scope for better magnification and superior sighted accuracy. So if you want a sniper status version of this thing, then you go over to the improved scopes in their variants. Next, we've got a targeting computer, which tracks targets, gives you a massive... That's almost like a Call of Duty Javelin-esque sort of thing there. Now, we're only firing bullets when it comes to this thing, so whether that's actually going to make much of a difference for a bullet firing thing, I'm not sure. But perhaps there might be something that we could possibly use that on a little bit more effectively. We'll go for a reflex scope on this thing because we're going to have this thing sort of be a all-rounder role type of shoulder-mounted machine gun. Next, you've got the magazines. We've got a standard, quick eject version of that, extended, a quick eject version of that, and same thing with the drums. So we'll throw that one on. 33.5 pounds now, but the ammo capacity allows for better sustained fire. Next, you've got paints. You can have Adam Cat's paint, desert camos, gunmetal, which I think is really cool looking. We've got Nuka-Cola paint, which honestly looks like Institute colors, so not really sure what's going on there. Shark paint, which gives you a little bit of a Gowade Avenger feel about that, which I greatly appreciate. I quite like that aesthetic. And of course, we've got standard paint and Union paint, not to be confused with the Techno Union from Star Wars. I believe this is a reference to the faction of losers that live in the pit during the time of Fallout 76. So if you want that, if you like that connection, you can definitely have that. But I think, as basic as it is, the gunmetal paint, it looks sleek, it looks awesome, so we'll use that. And there is our shoulder-mounted machine gun. Let's talk about getting this and some of the cool, unique variants that you'll find out there in the world. The shoulder-mounted machine gun, or perhaps we'll call it the SMMG. No, we'll just go shoulder-mounted machine gun. I think that's easier. Anyway, it's injected into leveled lists at level 20, suggests a low-level type approach for a weapon like this, which is logical considering we're only firing the 10mm cartridge, but you'll find that it clears. It's pretty expensive, I guess, compared to, say, this, not this grenade launcher or this RPG. This Sega 20 shotgun is a lot cheaper, and you get more damage, so, ooh, something to consider there. Thanks, Clanker. And just for reference, here is the shoulder-mounted machine gun, back in its home in Fallout New Vegas. That's what it's like when you shoot the thing, and it looks like this. You sort of hold it on the side. That's kind of weird, right? But, yeah, that's what it looks like. You can shoot it as well. I'm gonna quit now before I start getting weird ideas about gender. This game does stuff to people. The first of the uniques that you'll find is located right here in the settlement of Jamaica Plain. Map reference here. Now listen closely because it's a little bit more complex than usual because you need to get into the secret bunker with all of the goodies. So the easiest way to do that is find this red house, look out for the ghouls, there's many ghouls inside it, but climb to the top and that'll get you over to the church, and then you want to jump in. And you'll find this fellow over here, Luke Silverhand, not to be confused with Johnny, and he'll have a ID card on him. This will be chained, so don't bother going through the front door. Then you want to go into the main building over here in Jamaica Plain and work your way down to here, and then, oop, okay, you're going to need advanced lockpicking to do this. It's been a while since I've done this. Once you're inside the basement, just work your way through the openings in the doors to follow the posters, and then you'll find the room of many lasers. If you trip those, you'll find even more lasers. Once you're done with those, or you could just run through them, hit that button, you'll open up this door, and here's where the Jamaica Plain Mayor's password comes in. You can use it here, but it appears to be a novice locked terminal because it's only a 4-letter password. Anyways, open that up, and then you'll hit this button. It'll open up the room, and you'll find red flare right here with some American patriotism to go along with it. So red glare was another weapon from the Lonesome Road DLC, but it fires mini rockets instead of bullets. So this one is not quite right. It fires the flares instead, which you probably won't have too many of because the flare gun is used to call your Minutemen into settlements or around those parts to give you reinforcements, and the game doesn't really see fit to give you much. But there's red flare. God bless America. The next one we'll find in the glowing sea. I've adjusted the weather for visibility, but what you want to do is find the Deathclaw Highway Hill, and you'll know it when you find the Deathclaws on the horizon, and if you see these orange shipping crates, then you're in the right spot. So what you need to know is it was lost in the highway. It was being transported to Quincy in there, and here's Faded Glory. Embeds the weapon with true American spirit by shooting justice-induced fragmentation rounds, so explosive by the looks of it. And Patriot's Delivery says this gun should have been delivered to some patriotic collector in Quincy days ago, but I don't think I can go on. I've been walking for so long that I can't feel my legs. I've lost my entire mercenary team. Well, that's what you get when you go through the glowing sea, including the sentry bot, so I don't have much choice but to bail on delivery and return when I get a team again. No way am I getting past a glowing sea while lugging around this giant piece of metal. As far as I'm concerned, America, or what's left of it, can go screw itself. I'm not paid enough for this. Well, if you're gonna make an inflammatory statement like that, you may as well drop the F-bomb. You're gonna piss off enough people already. The next unique we'll find in the Adam Cat's garage, very south on the map down here, so getting here at an early level might be difficult, but if you can sneak your way down here, you'll have access to an easily findable unique, which is located in this car wreck, sort of in the main room here. There's a Nuka-Cola billboard up top. You can't miss it. Anyways, so inside the car wreck, you'll find Hot Rodder. Has a rear-mounted supercharger. Ludicrously increases the fire rate, which causes the bullets to superheat, setting the target on fire for 15 damage over 30 seconds. And there you go. There's got a couple of supercharged big blowers on the top, which is really cool. And I really like the idea of adding car parts to, you make your car go fast, all these modifications to improve your weapons. That's why I really liked the remakes of the auto axes in Fallout 76, because you could attach turbos onto them, which is really quite cool. But this thing really isn't on a combustion engine, so won't think about it too much. And here is the accompanying note. Zeke's passion project. Scrounging for car parts finally paid off. Jacked up my very own engine to be the meanest horse-powered, torque-rolling, head-rolling, red-line-threading, death-tolling machine. This puppy has installed a supercharger to boot, pushing it all the way to 12,000 RPM. Plenty enough to shred any poor gunner into Swiss cheese. So it looks like we'll be maximizing the rate of fire on this one, and you can just take it. Zeke doesn't mind. In fact, he's standing over there right now. Yeah. Got anything to say? Also, playing Mass Effect really changes your perception of literally any male NPC, because all of them are just Garrus. There's like 1,000 Garruses in this game, and it's kind of, it takes me out of it a little bit. So here we are at the Boston Police rationing site. This one's more centrally located, so easy to forget. But look what spawned just behind me. Now, it's a good mod and all, but they're missing the quintessential, massively loud Bighorner scream. There's a place in Fallout New Vegas where you could teleport to, and you'd usually have a Bighorner directly behind you. It's somewhere near the that Navarro Enclave bunker, and you go over there and oh really? You really want to do this? Anyways, so what you want to do to find this unique is go inside this this shed here. Look out for mole rats; they'll be around, but it's a pretty easy platform challenge to get up there. Just jump on these crates, then onto this carriage, and then there's even some guiding planks for you to examine. Once you get around there, there's even more crates for you to jump on. And finally, you'll find an opening in this here wall. Go along these stairs and walk along to the back of it, and you'll find Greed Machine. Doubled the fire rate with huge auxiliary ammo drum attached to the back, converted to 5.56. Most of these have standard receivers already, so I'm gonna go back to the mod bench and spruce all these up. We'll try to keep them in their intended unique roles, but cool chrome magazine, that's kind of cool. Anyways, so a couple of mole rats, never mind. Anyways, this one's called Ammo Hoarding, another accompanying note. Officials keep ordering tens of thousands of 5.56 rounds, but I can't order a pair of boots when I oh so pleasantly ask. Screw them, I say. I'll take care of the red threat myself. I've got an imported anti-air gun right here, packaged with what seems to be a bottomless ammo drum. I'll just borrow a few bullets every now and then to fill it up. I don't know how much this ammo drum even holds. So far, it's holding 500 rounds. I'll keep loading it up with more ammo, but I'm getting worried that I may get addicted to filling it up. Luckily, that's a problem for my officials to be troubled by. And there we go. Complete with a steam trunk to go along with it. Alrighty, so here we are finally 15 minutes in at Immersive Gunners Plaza, and you're going 15 minutes without shooting something. How very un-American of me, I say, as an Australian man playing as a British character. She's British, don't worry about it. Download the mod, it's Letitia Lemon, the voices are so canonically British. Anyway, so this is what the shoulder-mounted machine gun looks like in first person. You'll notice that the reflex sight there has got a reticule or a crosshair that is very reminiscent of the camera scope overlay from Fallout New Vegas, which I think is a pretty nice touch for the reflex sight. And that's what it looks like in third person. Notice that you don't hold it on the side like you do in Fallout New Vegas. It also looks a shitload bigger. So if you're in power armor, this thing will probably be slightly better proportioned, but that's what it looks like. And the rotary barrel still happens. Looks like it's firing out of the top barrel there, which I think is interesting. There's also some reloads that happen in first and in third person. Also, listen closely. It makes the fusion core has been replaced sound from your power armor, so that's even cooler. So they've retooled a couple of sounds there, and it's really come together pretty well. Also, I feel like this is executed way better than the New Vegas version, simply because the barrel spins more convincingly. Although the wind down makes it look like it's spinning in the exact opposite direction, which I don't know. I'm gonna blame that one on Todd Howard. But anyways, here's a couple more that I made. This one is sniper status with a big scope and the long tri-barrel, as well as the shark tooth paint. As you can tell, the recoil on this thing is going to make it hard to actually snipe with, but we are firing the powerful 10mm cartridge fairly rapidly. I suppose you could argue that the recoil is okay because the weight of the weapon itself is offsetting that recoil a little bit, I suppose. And here is our red flare. This one fires flares, would you believe, that explode a little bit like Molotovs, but unlike the red glare from Fallout New Vegas, this thing fires on a very arc trajectory. So, unfortunately, I feel like this scope is kind of useless. It looks really cool, though, when you aim down the scope, so yeah, that's helpful. No sniping for me with red flare. Next, we've got Faded Glory, which is, remember, it's the explosive one. It's a little bit harder for me to remember because I'm recording this on a different day, but that's what it looks like. I've left a scope on this thing. It appears to be just a medium scope, but it's got a rapid fire explosive effect. The thing about heavy guns in Fallout 4 is they're double dips, so the explosive effect is actually boosting this thing a lot more than usual, so that's nice. And next, we've got the Atom Cats thing. This is Hot Rod, and it uses minigun sounds. You can see the muzzle flash. It's firing so fast that the muzzle flashes just this whirly death thing. That's funny, because yeah, that's what happens when you fire a gun too fast. But I should maybe conserve my rounds a little bit because it's going to be eating through them very, very fast indeed. And lastly, we've got the 5.56 shooting one. Sorry, I forgot what this one's called. It is called Grade Machine. How could I forget? And we've got the Javelin-esque reflex sight, or the targeting computer, which I thought it kind of looked like a Javelin thing. It's also got the never-ending legendary effect. It'll never stop being loaded full of ammo, but I feel like this helps manage the recoil quite well, but yeah, I didn't actually expect it to be this Javelin-esque. Obviously, it gives you terrible, terrible tunnel vision, but it still looks really cool, and it gives you this cool screen overlay too. Ooh, I wonder how they did that. That's really cool. That's amazing. Anyways, let's begin. And I think the way we should do this, at least for starters, is using sniper status and trying to keep this crazy thing reeled in on our enemies. And since we've got a recon scope, we may as well mark everything, do a little bit of that recon before we begin. We'll mark out our targets, like flares for a A10 Warthog, and then we'll just lay some suppressive fire over there, because not a lot of this is hitting, so we can call it suppressing fire. What I could do is just utilize VATS and get an okay amount of shots, 3 in a 10-round burst. No, it's a 3-round burst. I expected a little bit more. Usually your rotary barrel things, oh, that was alright there. That was a pretty strong crit. Your rotary barrels that have a massive rate of fire and high ammo capacity, sometimes they give you a full 10-round burst. But that's not the case here, which means that the AP usage is sadly not very good. But now we're in the fight for real, so let's bring out our reflex sight one. Perhaps this one's a little bit better on our VATS efficiency, slightly. Add some criticals in the mix, why not? We've got a bunch of luck points, let's use them, and a bunch of crits. seems to be a pretty effective weapon for the purposes of critting, although we may have run out here. Let me just reload, pop a fresh mag in this thing, and then just start indiscriminately shooting. Okay, I'm gonna rethink my approach because I'm on fire and that's not fun. Maybe I'll go over here and not try to face so many at once. That was an 1,000 XP kill. Man, seeing that after playing a lot of Fallout London where you get barely any XP for kills, that's nuts. I don't even get that much for Idiot Savant procs on quest completion. But I feel like it's performing to about the same level as the shoulder-mounted machine gun from Fallout New Vegas, so I suppose that's on par with what would normally be expected. And, ooh, okay. Didn't expect thingos, the flares, to be throwing bodies around, but there's a definite utility value in that. Also, this thing, it fires as fast as you can pull the trigger, so have at thee. For Queen and Country, I mean, for America. I'm thinking I might be able to arc these into a position where I can do a lot of damage, and that appears to be the case. I got kind of lucky there. And I'm actually throwing people off ledges and then killing them with full damage, so there you go. There's not a lot of weapons that I can say that I've killed them with full damage with, but there you go. Let's go over to Faded Glory now. This thing should be extremely powerful. Oh yeah. So if you really want some power in your endgame approaches, then Faded Glory is definitely the way to go. I just kind of wish I could see anything whilst I was sprinting with this thing. Now I could use this thing in third person, but there's some problems with the animations, you see. I'm going to try to move, and we're not going to get very far. You can sprint with it, but as soon as you stop moving and go into normal walkie mode, then you're screwed. You can, however, I'm pressing W and I'm going sideways. Okay. Yeah, something's definitely wrong there, and that might affect the NPC's ability to actually use this thing, so we might explore that a little bit later on. There's the invisible head man. He shows up every now and then. But, yep, of course, with explosive weapons like this, the crowd control potential is rather insane, yes. That guy got wrecked. And we'll leave that door bridge to last. But yeah, this thing should be rolling over pretty much everything. There's another invisible head man. I wonder if it's because they pop a stealth point and it wears off, or it's just a brand of like toothpaste that they have that just causes them to cloak. Not sure. Anyways, let's move over to our next one. This is Adam Cats. It's Hot Rod. So we should be absolutely shredding people with this thing. And the little bit of fire damage is not significant at all because, well, that's 15 damage over 3 seconds, not 30 seconds like I said earlier. Yeah, I was watching through that, and yeah, that's a mistake. But yep, high rate of fire on this thing allows you to do a whole lot of damage up close. And since we need to sort of be up close because the barrels don't allow for much of the old range stat, the DPS is going to be good, but our ammo expenditure and all of that is going to go much worse by comparison. We still haven't really messed around with our javelin launcher looking thing yet, so we'll try that one out next. Classic holstered weapons doesn't work with heavy guns by default, but I've got something important on my back. We can pretend that the weapon's there. We don't have to. We've got something important. Anyways, go pies. Okay, let's try out the Greed Machine, which I believe is like Green Machine, but it's different because the man who made it was kind of greedy. So if you notice next to the scope overlay itself, there's a little bit of a computer that's giving, I don't know, various messages of possibly error. That might be a little bit of a reference to the auto grenade launcher back in Fallout New Vegas, which had the screen on it for some reason, which would give you error messages, which I don't know how that screen was going to help you actually aim those grenades, but it was there. Just a little bit of a screen clutter. some nice set dressing, I suppose. That's not the term for it, but we'll go with it. Anyway, so I can barely see what I'm shooting at here, and I'm going to get completely stomped. And the worst part is if I decide to get staggered, I can't switch in and out of third person without stifling my movement to stifle his ability to stop me. Or at least just not get staggered. But apparently I've got him stuck, and a lot of headshots later, and a really good start with sneak criticals, the job is done, and the barrel is not even hot either, so... Oh, that's weird. There's not even an opening. Huh. That's really cool. I kind of wish they gave us an explanation of how they actually did that, because this is genuinely impressive, and it's like mesmerizing. Oh, so weird visual effects, but... Okay, we can do better than that, so we'll bring out Faded Glory and, like, shoot a Wendigo or something. Okay, the Wendigo is over there. We'll just start sniping him, I guess, and ooh, a little bit hard to control the recoil on this thing. Let's just aim at his legs, and I know we can't cripple him, but we can bounce splash damage off of him, and hopefully get a couple of staggers here and there, and we get some crits on the way. Why not? That's done a pretty good job at shutting him right down, and all we need to do is just outpath him, which as a Bethesda enemy should be easy enough. And by the time that I need to reload this, he's dead. Okay, so that crushed him, and as expected, oh look, his insect petting zoo is still around, so I suppose we should fix that before they all start buzzing around and flying off, but... Yeah, so this is definitely the strongest variant, or is it? I suppose we should test out the red flare against something strong and see if it stacks up. Okay, so let's get Rocket's red flare lighting up the night, shall we? And we'll just dial in some of the range. Actually, we could pretty much carpet bomb the entire beachfront here if we just do this. The recoil will push the muzzle up, giving me a slightly increased trajectory and range every shot that I make, so that's kind of cool. Or we could just like generally carpet bomb the area like that. Yeah, they're not getting through that, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty more raiders for me to take out. There we go. Gonna be fun, they say. Oh, we'll see about that. This thing appears to be utilizing a similar projectile to that of the sentry bot, their little bomb, so that's kind of interesting. And it looks like you can fire this thing at a low angle and it actually won't kill you. I don't know how they've fixed that bug, but it's very bad, terrible on Merv launchers. If you fire that at a low angle, they'll all explode directly under your feet, mostly ending in the death of the player. So if you've ever done that before, now you know why. The irony of ice cream being plastered on that wall or bolted on, or however that advertisement thing was attached. Anyway, so the Myler Queen, she should probably not get thrown around all ragdoll style, but I think this one might. So what I might do is find an easy target and throw some flares over there and see what happens. Oh yeah, that's totally knocked down. So he's not getting thrown too far, so I suppose we could probably get a little bit closer. And, yep, we can completely neutralize him. And I think we threw him underwater there, like fully upside down. Okay, so the problem here might be the fact that we're blowing him up too far, and he might like get thrown out of range, or might get thrown to the bottom of the ocean where it'll cause more problems for him. See, the physics, you could be the biggest Mirelurk in the bloody world, and if you get thrown by physics, you are pretty much as weightless as a paperclip. And unless we get these shots going exactly the right spot, then we might have problems. Also, the explosions work underwater, which I don't see a problem with that if you don't. So there's definitely a strength in the fact that you can knock things down. I think the limiting factor is going to be ammo. But if you really need like a really strong enemy completely neutralized, even for just a couple of seconds, I mean, if you could justify the weight of carrying this thing around all the time, you might be able to say that, hey, you could just use this thing as more of a utility weapon. But it is a hefty price on the carry weight to pay. What are you? I'm not really sure, but he had a laser gun, so I thought for a moment that he may have been Brotherhood, but no. He really should have stayed inside, I think, because now the whole crew is going to get ganked. Come here. Question is, can you knock yourself down with this? The answer is no, so yeah, you will kill yourself if you fire too many times directly under your feet, but you don't knock yourself down, which is great. Okay, we've recruited Winter and given a Hot Rod, which is the Adam Cat's super high rate of fire things with the big blowers on the top. And it appears she can move. How far, though? Will she break into a jog if she's far away enough? No, she'll just keep walking, but like slide faster or something. Not really sure what's going on there, but we're going to fight the Roachzilla over here, so we'll see how she goes with this thing in her hands. And we'll use our explosive variant here, and look at those traces. Look at that accuracy. That is laser beam pinpoint accurate. But now we've got to make sure that Roachzilla doesn't eat her, because he does a lot of damage. And ooh, nice. We actually caught him in the vehicle explosion there. Whoa. You can hear the thing screaming as every single shot of hers lands. Well, that was kind of crazy. But yeah, NPCs can use this thing. They'll just like, I don't know, like passive-aggressively walk at you with it. It's they're stuck in like first gear, but they'll find a way to find some speed if they feel like it, I suppose. But I think you get the point. So that there was the shoulder-mounted machine gun, and I don't know, the power is a little bit up and down. If you can get the right variant of unique, then this thing is going to be fine and probably will smash through the end game of what the original vanilla game story can give you. So no real complaints there. And again, I am playing on very hard difficulty, which slashes your damage in half before you even apply enemy damage resistance. So I don't think this thing's weak. I feel like it's pretty well balanced. You'll find that the balance might be shifted a little bit should you be using the explosive variants, being the Faded Glory like you see here, or Red Flare, which I believe is number 3. There it is. So why not fire some celebratory fireworks? That was kind of cool. I wonder if you could sit just outside a raider camp and just completely carpet bomb them like that. Do that as like a pre-strike before the artillery shells come in from your Minuteman artillery towers. That would be kind of cool, but maybe that's something for you to mess around with. But yeah, if you want to see this weapon in your game, check out the link in the description. It'll be down there. Highly recommended. Anything from Rat Runner's Arsenal is really good, but I think this is a really good recreation of the shoulder-mounted machine gun, which not only lives up to its weapon derivative, but I think it does it way better, and it's just so much better to use, and it's cooler, and it's designed well, and it's got some really cool and interesting things, especially with this weird javelin sight, which, I mean, look at that. How do they even do that? Makes everything look really strange, and seems to highlight certain objects as well, which, like is that vehicles that it's highlighting because they give off like some sort of infrared signature? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to ask questions of that because I found that really intriguing. But yeah, link in the description. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Download Lily and Winter. They're different mods. They're followers. They'll keep you safe. Don't worry. Thank you very much. See ya.